Are you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. And this is the podcast you've been waiting for. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Welcome, guys. My name's Krystle. I'm a 1-3 sacral generator, rising Capricorn, Sagittarius sun, and an Aries moon.
And I'm Leah. I'm a 2-4 splenic projector, Aquarius sun, Taurus moon, Libra rising.
And welcome. Welcome to the program recap. This is an episode, if you see the title, anytime you see this title, we are talking about the transits. So we actually travel through the transits through the lens of human design, astrology, and tarot. We have found a common thread that runs through each one of those modalities. And we do these are bi-weekly episodes. So we give you the energy for 2 weeks at a time. And we also invite you and encourage you to jump on our email list because we actually give you the deeper details of the gates and other astrological placements on the program breakdown, which is your roadmap to success. So if you are interested in that, definitely click the show notes down below and subscribe to our email list. So we have been doing these types of podcast episodes for 2 years now. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. We just had our 2-year anniversary. We actually just put out a special offer, if you don't know, for our 2-year anniversary. If you're interested, we have a sample of our fractal family framework. Try to say that 10 times fast. And it is basically a framework that expresses and explains how you can connect to people that resonate with your aura. There's places in your variables that explain this, and that's what the sample is. We gave you a sample of that part of the class, which talks about the variables and really how, if you have, especially if you have like a business, this is really good for business owners, that if you're looking to brand or reach your audience, be authentic with your voice and your communication and your messaging, you'll definitely want to check out the sample of the Fractal Family Framework. Or, the best version is the full version because it's a full hour. We're only giving you 20 minutes for the sample. And you get that if you join us in the color code variable intensive. And we will be talking a little bit more about that down the line. I want to kind of let you guys know a couple other things before we get there. And then we'll jump into the program recap. So definitely stick around for that. Now, before we jump into some other segments, if you are watching us on YouTube, hi, hello, how are you doing? We are also on YouTube if you didn't know, and you're just listening to us on another place to stream the podcast. But if you want to see our faces for like, what do these most likely basic bitches look like? We do look like a bunch of basic bitches. Not gonna lie. But we're definitely weirdos. You can check us out on our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this, click the show notes down below, jump on the YouTube, see us over there. And if you are on YouTube, give us a big thumbs up and it'll help us reach more weirdos like you guys if you do that. And also, if you get anything out of this podcast episode, if anything happens to you during your week, if you get an aha moment, if you have something to share, feel free to leave a comment on YouTube and so that we can read them. We really enjoy when you guys leave us messages. Yeah. We really want to start connecting with you guys on a deeper level. So we do want to start, incorporating our polls and our questions over on Spotify. So if you have the Spotify app, we have left some questions for you guys if you want to go check them out and answer it. We want to know who's here. So we're going to leave you some question on what your type is, what your sun sign is. Very simple questions. Just fill that out or hit the whatever it is that how we share. We're not sure how we're doing it yet. So just go over to Spotify and see what we did. And then we also, for the last 2 years, have been doing episodes on during Halloween. We put out an episode on an analysis, a human design analysis of a serial killer. So if you're interested in, crime, I feel like every basic bitch is, right? That's like a requirement to
Yeah.
be a basic bitch is to be into those crime episodes or
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So if you're interested in that, you want to help us out and figure out what our Halloween episode serial killer human design analysis will be. We've also pulled you guys on that as well over on Spotify. So if you want to help us out, help us pick out the next serial killer. And if you're interested in the last ones we did, you can go listen. Leah, maybe Leah will drop those up. Can you drop those episodes in the
Yeah.
in
I'll
the
put them
show
in
notes? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Leah's gonna drop the last two episodes that we did for Halloween, which were the last year we did Jeffrey Dahmer. That was a good one. I was very inspired by the show. I've also watched a bunch of documentaries on him. I've just been fascinated by him for a very long time. And this is not to say that anything that these men did were good or that like we think it's funny or like we also have
Yeah.
open solar plexus, so we're not really great with emotions, just to be honest. So and we do try to keep it a little bit on the lighter side because we know how dark these circumstances ended up. So we did last year Ted not last year we did Jeffrey Dahmer, and then the year before that we did Ted Bundy. So if you're interested in that, go check out those episodes. You can click the show notes down below. And I feel like that's a lot of the stuff I wanted to share. Now, before we dive into our next segment, which is your true view high and your transferred view low, similar to when people do rose and thorn, or what was your high of the week, or what was your low of the week. We're going to do that in just a moment. But before we dive into that, I just want to let you know back to the color code. We do have spots that have been claimed for the color code variable intensive. We are only taking 10 total mad scientists for this round. We have a great group forming, but we do have spots still available. And it is actually early bird, which you get $55 off, plus the full fractal family framework you get for free. That early bird enrollment ends on 9/19, September 19th. I believe that's this Tuesday.
Tuesday. Mm-hmm.
This Tuesday. So not a lot of time. If you're listening to this on Monday or Tuesday, or if it's past, then it's we still might have it open at that point, but the price will have gone up. So if you are interested in the variables, if you've been in your experiment for a while, if you have no idea how, like what they even mean or where to find resources, Google is definitely not your friend for the variables. There's so much information now that it's just wild. But the deepest part that we provide is actually integration. Like, yes, the source material, the resources on the variables, the education, extremely, extremely important that we are also going to provide for you guys. But the majority of what I see is nobody knows how to use or apply this information. And that's where we come in. We provide experiments for this, and we actually take the time with a lot of you guys. We also have a community page where we have discussions as well. It's not just calls that we have. We're also with you every single day for the 5 weeks. It's a 5-week journey through the variables. And so we want to make sure, and we did this with the last 11 people that we had. We want to make sure that you understand how to use this information when you are done with this intensive. And that's what every last person got out of this intensive, was actually how to use this information in their life and how to reach their version of success. So if you are like, hell yes, I want to join this color code variable intensive, click the show notes down below, claim your spot. And we're so excited about the people that are joining us for this round. So let's go ahead. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to DM us. Human Design Astro Club is our joint account. I'm Journey Through HD on Instagram, and Leah is the Splenic Projector on Instagram. You can find all of our information with that in the show notes down below as well. So let's go ahead and start our next segment called True View High, Transferred View Low. Now, your view, if you don't know, this part of the variables in human design, and it's your unique perspective, the glasses, okay, the lens that you wear to see the world, okay? And so we're constantly going back and forth, our minds, okay, this is connected to our personality. We're constantly going back and forth through seeing correctly in our true view and being distorted, being distracted by the mind in our transferred view. So we thought this would be fun to do. So now I forgot oh wait, I remember my true one. I'm like, hello. So I'll start because Leah's like never knows what she wants to say. So I'll be the first one to go. So my true view high was this last weekend. I got Reiki certified. Now, my tonal resonance in human design, which is connected, which is the tone that sits in your environment variable, okay, which is connected to your body and your environment and the way you experience the world around you, okay? And mine is touch. And I always wanted to get Reiki certified. I wanted to actually do it right before the pandemic happened. And then the pandemic happened. I was like, probably not the best time to do this. And then I found out actually around that time that my tonal resonance was touch. And I was like, hey, I feel like I really need to do this. So the next time that it's correct and this potential certification comes up again, I'm going to respond. And so I recently met somebody that was going to be running the certification actually right near where I live, which couldn't have been more perfect. And she's also desire motivation like me. So I knew that I was going to get a lot out of whatever she provided. She also has a defined heart. So it ended up being a hell yes. And it was one of the best things I feel like I've done. So I know you're probably not listening to this, Jen, but Jen, thank you so much for, doing all the things that you did this last weekend. You really definitely um shared all of your knowledge and wisdom with us. And I feel like a powerful bitch. I've been raking everything.
Reiki everything. You're like, how can I Reiki these things?
I'm like, can I Reiki my world? Just constantly be in Reiki, like just active.
I'm gonna
But
Reiki my sandwich.
yeah, it's just another tool to my witchy kitchen's tool belt. And I feel like it's really actually already changed a lot for myself. And plus it hasn't even been a week yet. And like I've been raking my cat every night. He's wild at 10, like, and he's a generator. So like the rhythm is like, and the rituals that he does, it's always the same time every day, 10:30 every night. He goes wild. I was like, we're about to go to bed. Okay. So I've been raking him every night and he's been calm. It's so bizarre. Like this stuff actually really works. So that's my high. And then my low actually also happened this last weekend. So I really wanted to go to the fair. They have a fair around this time of year. And so we planned to go after I finished my Reiki certification one of the days. And I get in the car and it was also about to rain. So there was like, that was already pissing me off. And then my manifester wanted to go to dinner instead. I was just like, I'm pissed. And my husband goes, you can't say that in front of the kids. And I'm like, they didn't hear me. And then he's like, you're getting pissed about not going to this fair. I'm like, yeah, I'm pissed. I was like, I really want like our family time together. And I like the types of things where you can gather as long as it's not overwhelming. Sometimes these events can be overwhelming. And then my calm determination starts to freak out. There's a little bit of contradiction with being like calm determination, but also kitchen's environment. like, I feel like that's a contradiction because
Yeah.
kitchens want to be around people, want to gather, want to
Mhm.
like, transform energy all around. Like my Reiki feels very kitchens. But so that was my low. And then I got into a little argument with my husband because I said that I'm pissed in front of my kids. And then I was pissed for 10 minutes. And then I got over it because I was in transferred. So I was like, how dare you, manifester, try to change our plans? Um, so I was
Yeah.
little transferred personal there for a moment, but I came out of it. So that's me. What about you?
That's well, I got a tattoo, which
Oh
how do I
yeah. How do you share that? Okay, YouTube.
awkwardly like
Yeah.
this?
Wow.
So it's three flowers. It's upside down.
Um,
There's a cone flower for my sister, a pansy for my mom, and a tea rose for my grandmother. And then the beehive stuff in the background is for my grandpa. So all of those, like I had booked this appointment with this tattoo artist specifically because she does watercolor, which is
mhm.
what the color is in the background, like months ago.
Oh wow.
And I just prepped myself for it and I made sure I had all the things together that I wanted because so, sometimes people do tattoos and they're like last minute. Like my husband can make a last minute choice. He's like, oh, I want this. And he'll get it tattooed. And I'm like, I need at least a couple months ahead of time to like love what I'm going to put on my body and love it so much that I'm going to look at it all the time. And when she was done, like I couldn't even look at it while she was doing it because I just wanted to be surprised. And I just had a feeling that it was going to be great because she was really focused. Like she must I would have had a human design conversation with her except for like she was like so focused and so I could tell she might have been like left brain or left
Mhm.
mind because she was so like focused on what she was doing, which made me feel good because it wasn't like she was talking and getting distracted and we just kind of sat there the whole time in silence most
Oh
of it.
wow. She might be like quad left where she's
Yeah, and
yeah.
like define throat or something like me and I was like we both of us were just comfortable just sitting there. It was a really
Like
good
she's a
session.
projector too.
Maybe. Maybe because she was having to take a break from tattooing because her body was telling her that she needs a break.
Oh, yeah.
That I also had that thought in my mind and I was like, "Oh man." But I never get the balls to ask anybody their birthday.
Why? Oh, I'm
Oh,
on it. Like
I
in
thought of you.
5
I was
seconds.
like, Krystle would have already been asking
I
and
would have
had
already had it before we even started the session.
yeah.
That's what I would have been looking at while she was tattooing me.
Yeah.
But I'm a crazy bitch, so
Well, I like to think about it and think, well, maybe that's what they were, and I don't know if I'll ever find out. But she was awesome, and I'm very happy with it. Um, I would say a low is not even really that significant. We're supposed to have windows replaced, and the guy said he was coming last week, and he still hasn't shown up. So I'm like irritated, and there's like a shit ton of mosquitoes outside. So the whole time I'm like, he's gonna have our house wide
oh
open
gosh.
and we're going to get flooded with mosquitoes and I feel like my touch cognition is like so sensitive now because I'm so
Mhm,
like
mhm,
deconditioned that
mhm,
like I get bug bites and I'm like it's like literally everywhere. I get them all like they swarm to me. So
mhm.
I've been thinking this whole time like when we get these windows replaced I'm going to have mosquito bites in my sleep. Like that's all I can
Wow.
think about. So I'm not mad really that he hasn't shown up because maybe it will make the mosquitoes go away. I don't know. I have no idea. They're awful. Anyway, it's very insignificant, but it was just my only thoughts.
Yeah. Well, that's
So,
that concludes this segment. But what we'll ask you guys is if you do have a true view high and a transferred view low, you can feel free to share yours in the
yeah,
comments down below on the YouTube if you would like.
Mhm.
Head over to the YouTube, and I feel like we'll ask you enough things for this week on Spotify if you would like to check out those polls and questions that we have for you guys. We really, really want to um know who's here. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard when you're just like, especially because we started out with just the podcast where you couldn't even interact, like at least with YouTube. Sometimes we get to see the comments you guys leave. But when we first started on here, we didn't know who any of you were.
We're a
So
bunch of mystery listeners and we want to get to know you.
yeah, we want to get to know you guys and like, find more ways to support you guys. We both have the channel of surrender, which the keynote of that is support. And that's what we do. Anything that we provide, we are trying to, that's the underlying theme is support. And so if you're new to this podcast, also, we want to let you know who we are and like what what the Human Design and Astral Club is about. Not just the podcast, but we also do classes and workshops. I do readings outside of here. I have sessions with people. There's a lot more going on than just what you're seeing here. So we want to let you know what the Human Design and Astral Club actually is. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine a treehouse, all of the eclectic, weird kids in the neighborhood that feel like an outsider, that feel like an outcast. Maybe they feel like they're the black sheep of the family. Maybe they feel a little bit of alone in their environment and they're looking for community, connection, and support. The Human Design and Astral Club is that little treehouse in the middle of the neighborhood that is held up by love. You're not sure how it's standing there, but it's held up by love. And the door is always open. The door is always open for those that feel like they need to be seen, they need to be heard, they need to be loved, they need to be supported. That is what the Human Design and Astral Club provides. We are here to help you be successful in life and love who you are and love what you do. That's what the foundation of the Human Design and Astral Club is. So if this is you, you are in the right place. We also have other episodes that are not just the program recap where we talk about the transits. We also do interviews with other people that we see that are living their designs, and we have conversations with them. It's usually me that ends up doing the interviews. And then we also do education episodes. Go check out, we just did a bunch recently. Go check out the past few episodes that we did on the variables. We also did an analysis on Ryan Gosling's human design variables. That was a fun one. So go check out some of our old episodes, and we are just so happy you were here. If you've been with us for the last 2 years, we thank you so much for supporting us and still showing up here. However many times we show up on here, sometimes we don't know when we're here and when we're not. But we appreciate you guys being here. And if you're brand new, thank you so much for watching this episode for the first time or listening to this episode for the first time. So let's go ahead and dive right in to the program recap. Hi there. We wanted to share with you more ways to connect with us and our free and paid resources and offers that will help you elevate your life and begin to tap into your fullest potential to live out your dreams. First up, we have created a free tips and tricks to understanding your strategy and authority and a free crash course on the transits that you can find in our beginner's path on our website in the show notes down below. And if you're ready to get a deeper understanding of the human design language and how to apply this to your very own chart, check out our user manual to your true self. And if you've been studying human design for a while and ready to lift up the hood of your vehicle and take a peek inside to better understand your process, we have created a mini variables class on the 4 radical transformations. Now, we do not have view or motivation available to purchase, but we have recently developed a kick-ass variable intensive called the Color Code Variable Intensive. That is a 5-week journey through the radical 4 transformations. And because our last round went so well that I can't even put into words, I can't even describe, but we are doing it again this fall. So please make sure you are subscribed to our email list because early bird enrollment is about to be made available. And lastly, if you are interested in one-on-ones with me, Krystle, then check out my readings on our website down below to snag one of my reading spots, or email us the word waitlist to be added to the next available openings as I get booked up very quickly. And everything else that you might be interested in, you can find on our website, humandesignastro.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for some prime education. Now let's go listen to the rest of this captivating episode. All right. So we are finally out of Mercury retrograde. Mercury has
Woo!
gone direct at this point. And if you want more information on how Mercury might have impacted you, we're still, I think at this point, are we still a little bit in the shadows? I'm not sure. I'm not doing math in my head right now, but we're still going to go back forward through the last aspects for the next month on what we just had to be in review of. So if you want to check out what the energy for the Mercury retrograde was, go listen to our last couple of episodes on the program recap, and you'll be able to discover how Mercury maybe has impacted you. So let's get into this week's program on the week of September 18th. Do I have that right? Yes. I have to double check because I did something wrong the last time and I was like, oh shit. But anyways, Mercury was retrograde. And it's technically still is for us because we are in the past. So I do have to double check. So we are in the week of September 18th for this one. And this focus is going to be the beginning of this week on our emotions. Fun. Welcome, all open, undefined solar plexus. You might have been feeling like things are stirring up in your relationships, and you are being asked to look at conflicts and how you really want to bond with others. Do you feel pulled in by them, or do you feel friction or a resistance towards them? And then you are being grounded in to help support you with this focus is more emotions on your experiences. Maybe you might find yourself in some friction or crisis. But the question to ask for this program is, what can I learn from these experiences and these relationships? That's what this program is calling for. And then on Thursday, we enter a new program. Okay. Now, the program also, so you guys know, the program, we are traveling through the sun and earth gates for approximately a week, approximately somewhere around 6 days, because we're traveling through the lines of the gates, which are 6 lines, right? So it's approximately a week, and sometimes they overflow into the next week. Okay. So Thursday, we enter a new program with a focus on our heart. I'm excited about this because I am a vessel of love and I have these gates. So we are focusing on our heart and our bodies for this one in particular, and the love we have for these vehicles, and the invitation to come back home to the self. And what's going to help ground you in that is some more love. But this kind of love is universal love and more innocent love, the love that is the thread that runs through all of us. This is such a beautiful time during this year because then on Saturday, we get the fall equinox, which is one of my favorite times of the year, on the 23rd, which holds this vessel of love energy that I was just talking about. And a beautiful day to welcome in the next season. Do rituals, connect back to your heart center, and we'll discuss more in the program breakdown on this, and also most likely send you a fun little extra email as well, to capture the essence of this day. So make sure you join our email list if you're interested in the program breakdown, which is the roadmap to success. And if you want to know what the actual gates we're talking about on here, because I try to just keep it light for people that don't fully understand human design and not to confuse anybody. But if you want to learn about the gates that are activated through these programs, we share them in the program breakdown. So we'll talk about the actual gates and any astrological placements that we feel like you need to know about, that go along with the program, because we only discuss, like I said, on the program recap, the energy of these 2 weeks, but we actually dive much deeper into the gates and ways to use these activations for your week. Click the show notes down below and get on our email list if you feel called. And now let's move on to the next week, okay? Which is the week of the 25th. And this is a continuation, as I said, of the last week's program that flows into this week. And then we enter into a new program on Wednesday, the 27th, with a focus on our intuition, okay, and correction. We just tapped back into our love this last program, and now it's like, okay, what needs to be improved right now for this new season. And what's going to help support that is our minds. If we get the intuitive nudge to improve, our minds can show us the opinions to sort out those situations. What are you analyzing? What perspective are you gathering during this program? Don't, go full forced to just correct, okay? Because you feel that, especially people that don't understand the way the program's working, they can get trapped in the matrix and feel the pressure to correct. Don't correct just because you feel the pressure to correct. But if something comes up during this program where you go, oh, wait, I overlooked that, or I see how that needs to go now, use your intuition to help guide you with that. And then on September 29th, we have full moon Aries. Okay, what we've all been waiting for guys probably wait for me to talk about the new moons and the full moons on here. So here we are. Okay, it's at the end here. So full moon Aries, which I'm an Aries moon. So if you are an Aries moon or you have an Aries placement in one of your big three, you'll probably be the most impacted by this. Also go look and see where you have Aries. Where does Aries fall in your chart? What house rules Aries? What planets do you have Aries in? It's somewhere in your chart, even if you don't have Aries in a planet, it's ruling a house. So go look and see, because that'll be the theme, and that's how to personalize these moons to your life. Okay. So Aries is a cardinal sign, cardinal fire sign, and the first sign of the zodiac. And is all about how can I take action? And the question to ask with this fire sign is, how have I taken action for the last 6 months? What is coming to a close? What have I materialized in this world, or what do I wish to materialize at this time? What information have you gathered and collected during this time that is going to provide a resolution? This full moon really wants you to dig deep, okay? Look at the facts and the details and see what you conclude. And this actually concludes the program recap. This is it. We'll definitely dive deeper into the full moon, and we'll talk about the activation of the full moon in the program breakdown. We're going to move on to the cards now. But if you want to understand the transits and have, as we just talked about many times through this episode, a roadmap to success, definitely subscribe to our email so you can get the program recap. The program breakdown. Excuse me. To get the program breakdown, is emailed directly to your inbox every Tuesday that we drop the program recap. So if you're listening to this on Monday, the 18th, then you will get the program breakdown on Tuesday, the 19th. So look for that email in your inbox, and let's go see what the cards have to say now.
It's going to be juicy. Okay. So for the first week, the week of the 18th, I pulled the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups, as you can see on the card here, if you're watching on YouTube, is a celebration. You're gathering your people, you're gathering the ones around you that are supporting you. You're also seeing some sort of completion of something that's happened. With this, it's like, there's bonds that are happening. There's celebration to be had. You can see that they're sort of like looking up at this big rainbow, and there's a couple kids that are dancing in the background. They're celebrating life. They're seeing what is worth celebrating right now, and what can you focus on that is worth celebrating in whatever. Say it's your career, say it's your romantic life. It could be partnerships of work partnerships, and celebrating yourself. I think that we all need to do this in some way. No matter what your type is, we need to celebrate ourselves for what we've done, for whatever version of success that looks like for you in your life. I think that's really important for us to do, and it's just like this good reminder to celebrate the things that you've accomplished, whether or not it's you can just apply it to wherever you feel like in your life for that. And it says that a couple of keywords for this are family, love, weddings, home, security, children, and celebration. So whatever that applies to for you, take some time to celebrate yourself, to celebrate those around you. And then for the oracle card for the same week of the 18th, I pulled Warrior Woman, and she's super powerful. And it says, have you answered your deepest calling? You are here for a reason. You are being called to bravely pave a path. Have you answered your highest and deepest calling? Living a heart and soul-led life is not all fluffy and smooth sailing. Living a heart and soul-led life requires courage to triumph over fear. So often our fears are the gatekeepers to our greatest gifts, and the more resistance we have toward answering the call, the more important it is to our soul's growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that we are facing the right way. Joan of Arc was known for her courage and her famous line, "I am not afraid, I was born to do this." But the thing about courage is that it's not possible without fear. So if you are feeling afraid, what is needed is courage, and courage comes from living from the heart. So think of your fears as opportunities to expand rather than things that are holding you hostage. If you look at your fears in this light, then as uncomfortable as it might feel, it's actually a sign that you are on the right track. We kind of talked about that last night too in our new moon circle, was like, what are things that are holding you back and how can you let those things go? I think that's a good reminder. So then for the week of the 25th, I pulled the Page of Pentacles, and this guy has shown himself a few times too. And this card is all about opportunity and bringing good news, and not just about like financial good news, but it could be about anything, and then being creative in different ways. There's a lot of yellow, and he's holding this pentacle. The pages are really fun and playful and creative. And this card is really about like allowing yourself to see what's possible, to put yourself in a place and your environment around you to allow opportunity and abundance to come in, and whatever that looks like for you. So if you take your specific human design environment and you're in that place, you can bring more into your life. And like we talk about the variables all the time because we're obsessed with them, we can help you provide, get to that version of success for yourself. So this is a good time to maybe just make a decision on something that you've been waiting on, but not be too hasty. Like you said, for the week of the full moon, like making sure that you're looking at all of the things, crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's, reading all the fine print, making sure that you're really being diligent about whatever paperwork or things that you're trying to work on right now, because it's really important too, is the details. Yeah. All right.
I feel like
and then one last, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's just what has come up a lot between Mercury retrograde, Virgo season really asked us to like refine, because Mercury retrograde was happening the entire Virgo season. And now it's like, okay, now what did I just look at, and how do I actually apply that? That's where we're at now, is the application.
Yeah. I feel like that was a really powerful time, and I don't know if anybody else feels the same way too. I do. It's had a really intense period with all of that at the same time.
I thought it was actually a pretty solid, which I don't usually say this, Mercury retrograde. Like we really needed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it actually. I say that now on the last day that we're recording this, and I'm like, shit, everything's gonna go crazy.
Yeah. Now that it's over. Okay. And then for the oracle card, I pulled boundaries, and it says, where do you need to establish better boundaries? You are being called to create clearer boundaries in your life. This could be with your friends, your family, your work. Saying yes when you really mean no leads to resentment, which is the biggest energy drain ever. At first, it might only be a little bit. It might not feel like a big deal, but before you know it, your energy field becomes porous and you are left feeling depleted, resentful, or taken advantage of. Saying no and having clear boundaries is actually a spiritual act. It's the most giving, loving, compassionate that you are able to set with clearest boundaries. For when you say yes, you are able to give unconditionally. When your boundaries are clear, you know where you stand and you are able to give freely. If you are not clear where your boundaries lie, this causes confusion, resentment, and energetic cords to be planted. If you're saying yes when you really mean no, you are likely needing something yourself. So ask yourself, what part of me needs something from them? It could be a need for approval, a fear of being seen a certain way, or a fear of loss. The best way to gauge your boundaries is to check in with your belly. Your belly is a second brain. It has an intelligence known as your gut feelings. Tune into this space and decide what is okay for you. How does it feel, and what is trying to communicate with you? And I think to kind of expand on that too, like your inner authority. So that feels sort of sacrally, but I feel like it's really important for you to check in with your authority. And because sometimes that gut feeling isn't there for people.
Yeah. As a projector,
So
you're not getting a
yeah,
gut
I
feeling.
could ask my gut, but it'd be like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So just replace gut feeling with authority.
authority.
And yeah, I think we
Yeah.
all need to establish better boundaries. Forever work in progress, especially right now with the nodes.
Yeah, for sure. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Okay, cool. Well, we hope that this episode provided you a little bit of insight on how to make the most out of these next 2 weeks. And like we said, if you did get something out of this episode, let us know in the comments down below. You can also shoot us a DM if you would like, send us an email. We love hearing from you guys. We love connecting with you guys. And we do hope that you have a great next 2 weeks. And we will see you over on the next one.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of our podcast on the Human Design and Astro Club. We hope you have found the information insightful and useful. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a review and sharing it with your friends and family. We love to hear from our listeners, so feel free to reach out to us with any feedback, questions, or suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.